Game Breaker TV.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Legendary episode 109 for January 3rd, 2013. Do you guys realize I never know the date? Do you realize I screw it up almost every time? Every time. Like, I never, ever know the date. I just flub. Get your tinfoil hats ready because we got more Titan rumors tonight. Patch 5.2 PTR is finally up, and we have a look at what's available. And did Ghostcrawler accidentally slip some new features coming up in the next expansion? All that and more, but first, of course, from WoW Insider, Gamebreaker TV in England, it's Legendary's resident librarian and PvP enthusiast, Olivia Grace.
Hello. From England.
From
Hello.
And,
it's the middle of the night.
Yes, it is. Host of PTR, Rapid Fire, Just the Tips, so on, so on, so on. Josh Allen, aka Lore.
I guess my show is called PTR now.
PTR.
I should do that.
You should just call it PTR. Switch it up.
I'll just start another show and call it PTR. I need more of those.
All right, we got tons to talk about today about the World of Warcraft. But first up, there's some juicy rumors floating around that popped up just today. Olivia D. Grace covered it on the GameBreaker.tv's. A poster by the name of Alphanoid has been chatting up on Blizzard's top secret project. You know, we've been covering Titan for quite a while. He's been on the NeoGAF forums. So the thing that I think that's interesting about this poster is that, you know, lots of people tend to like make up stuff about Titan, and rumors start flying all over, and use a lot of false information out there, and everybody's like, so what makes this guy any different? And well, pretty much he's been spot on with almost all his other predictions that he's made in the past. So he's kind of got a track record of being, I don't know if legit's the right word, because I don't know if you're posting rumors, I don't know if you're legit, but he's been kind of accurate.
Totally legit.
So after some digging, it turns out he actually was the person who outed the name Project Titan over a year before the product slate leak that got the whole thing started.
Yeah. If you remember back to when we were like first talking about the product slate leak on Legendary, we were like, "What's this Titan thing down at the bottom? It's not anything that we've ever heard before," and that's kind of where everyone started talking about Titan. But
this guy talked about it a year earlier. A year earlier,
right.
He was talking about this.
Yeah, sure did. He also predicted Diablo 3's release date quite accurately as well, I seem to recall.
Wonder if I'm never going to receive an email from Blizzard ever again after this.
Yeah, that's it.
It's okay. You just need to make friends with Alphanoid, apparently.
Apparently, he gives more information. At least I don't have to wait till midnight.
Can we call him Blizztradamus?
Ooh, that's a good name.
Good name.
Alphanoid, Mr. Blizztradamus. So here's what he's saying. When did this actually post? Was this like late last night, early this morning? Do we know what was the timestamp on this?
I don't know the actual timestamp. It was. I think it was last night, maybe even yesterday, like late afternoon my time. So,
well, it was. I haven't had a whole lot of time to really. Yeah, I haven't really had I actually didn't even know about this until like just before the show, because I was like, must look at World of Warcraft news, World of Warcraft. I've been like busy with the 5.2 PTR and everything. And then Gary was like, are we talking about Titan on the show tonight? It's kind of the biggest thing that's happening lately.
We have to talk about this, right? Because it was the biggest thing that happened today across the entire internet.
Yeah. I think the posts have come from a while back though.
I woke up this morning and looked at the Game Breaker, like, you know, analytics, and I was like, holy crap, what's going on? Like, why do we have all this traffic right now? And like, oh, well, Blizztradamus posted last night, and Here's what he's saying.
It seems like it seems like it's something that he actually posted a while ago. Is the thing, and it was in such this like weird, obscure corner of the internet that a site was it Titan something.info, Titan News.
Titan Info, yeah, TitanInfo.net or something.
Yeah, I don't. There's a link to it on the Gamebreaker TV site.
Yeah.
But they came across this and they were like, "Holy crap! How has this been sitting here this whole time and no one knows about it?" So that seems to kind of be what this is that he actually posted a lot of this info, even like a couple months ago at this point.
Yeah, exactly. And I think they've sort of gone through their old forums and some other forums as well. So I think it was Hard Forums or something like that. And they've gone through those and they've dug up all these guys' historic posts and like gone back and checked his accuracy about things like they found about how he predicted the Titan name and how he predicted the Diablo 3 launch. And he mentioned something about Starcraft as well. So yeah, it's kind of, they've sort of had a eureka moment in their bathtub or something and just been like, oh my God, this guy actually might have inside info on Blizzard. No way.
He's legit, yo.
He's
legit. So here's what he has to say. Get this. He says, Blizzard has been on record saying that Titan would be a new IP. It's not. I'm going to stop right there. What? We have been covering this like we've been talking about. I mean, that was the one piece of information I think we all thought was accurate. Like that is the one that we all fought to the death when people are like, I think it's going to be a Starcraft demo. We're like, no. They said it's a new IP. There's no way it's going to be anything. And here he comes, Mr. Smarty Pants. Blizzard has been on record of saying that Titan would be a new IP. It's not. It's a spin-off of an existing franchise, and they're playing into that to elude a new IP. He then goes on and finishes up. He says, it's going to be what Blizzard fans want. Titan is the next Blizzard MMO, but it's not Warcraft. I don't know.
So at least we know that much.
Yes.
Yeah, at least we know.
But I don't even know if I believe that now. I don't even, like, I don't even, what am I supposed to believe?
What are we supposed to believe anymore? It's so upsetting.
Everything is ruined. You ruined Christmas. I mean, this basically just like, you know, is all the theories that we've been following for the past like year or two, like trying to figure out what Titan is. This kind of blows it all out of the water. I mean, there's some more information here. He gives a little bit more of tidbits, but seriously, like, I don't know. Not its own unique IP? A hybrid? Like, what? Just gonna mash them all together? Just like World of Warcraft, Diablo, Starcraft. Here, it's called. I don't know.
He sort of refers to it as World of Diablo Craft-ish.
Ish.
Like, what? What is even happening?
How do you get those games closer to each other without them being the same game? Like. World of Warcraft was already, people called it an MMO Diablo when it came out because of how the gearing system and everything works. So now we've got Diablo, we've got World of Warcraft. Is it like a top-down MMO? Is it Diablo 3 but MMO? Is it a spin-off of the Diablo franchise? Maybe that's what it is? I don't...
Is that what you're anticipating? A spin-off of the Diablo franchise? I don't even know anymore. He makes a reference. Let me go on a little bit more. There's a little more actually here, not much to go on, but he says the team is working on Titan at Blizzard, the successor, the next MMORPG after WoW is now working on writing framework for the next Xbox in addition to PC. So another thing, it's coming out on Xbox as well. So I'm gonna say MMOFPS. We have been thinking it was going to be MMOFPS. You think it's really gonna be Diablo-esque though, or you think it's gonna be?
Well, I mean, if he's saying...
Wait, he does mention... Doesn't he mention something about Diablo?
Yeah, World of Diablo Craft-esque is what...
Yeah.
You think that's to throw everybody off? I think that's like just to throw everybody off. Because he just named every Blizzard IP basically in like one title, and he's like, here, you figure it out. I'll name them all.
Game.
Yeah.
Smush them all together and make a game.
And according to Alphanoid, it's going to be cross-platform. It's Blizzard's actually working on it for the Xbox.
Not even this Xbox. It's the next one.
No,
the
next gen one that supposedly no one has dev kits for.
That's apparently not true either, though.
Yeah. Now apparently Blizzard has dev.
Apparently, there's dev kits as well. I think isn't there something?
Yeah.
Didn't he also talk about that?
He did. He said that there was a quote on there saying, "Oh, someone said, oh, there are no dev kits for that," and he was quoted as saying, "Oh, no, nonsense. There are totally dev kits. My friend has one," and yeah, he's sort of quite adamant that they're already out there. So we shall see.
Maybe.
I mean, we wouldn't normally talk about this stuff like these kind of rumors on Legendary. Like, we speculate a lot, but I mean, this guy has really, really, like I said, they've really done their digging and research on this guy, and this guy has been so accurate that we kind of have to talk about it.
When you see lightning striking the same place several times in a row, maybe you think about putting a lightning rod there, because maybe that's just a hot spot. Yeah, it all sounds completely and totally ridiculous to me. Like, it all sounds like this is absolute nonsense. This is just something that some guy is making up. But unless he's managed to somehow fake his entire posting history over the past several years, including the dates, like he's actually hacked like NeoGAF and hard forums and such to somehow put posts in there that weren't there before. He's been predicting this stuff in the past. He's been right about a lot of things in the past, which...
If you had to pick one, see, I don't know why my brain is moving more towards World of Starcraft, Starcraft MMOFPS. I don't know why. Or do you guys think it's just going to be a hybrid? Like, do you think that they're just going to like totally like, I don't even know. That would be, I feel like that would, you know, he's talking about.
You just said
does
the happiest words I've ever heard in my life.
Does the community want that? Does the community want an MMOFPS set in the StarCraft world?
I want one.
Sounds cool, yeah. I'd like one.
It sounds a lot cooler than an FPS in a Diablo world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If it's an FPS and it's a spin-off of one of their existing franchises, unless they go back to like Blackthorn or something, then it has to be StarCraft. If it's one of the big three, you don't do like first-person bow shooting.
First-person archery? That would suck.
Actually, that sounds kind of amazing, but not from Blizzard. That's not what I want this to be.
And I mean, here's the other thing too is it's not like Diablo is even really. I know everybody's gonna freak out when I say this, but Diablo is not really like close to World of Warcraft, but it's a little too close. Like it's a little too close. I think that for the next game that they would go very far away from World of Warcraft, and I think just the fact of like, you know, it's got axes and swords. I would get away from, wouldn't you differentiate World of Warcraft as much as possible, get away and go to lasers and sci-fi? I mean, that makes much more sense to me.
I love your tinfoil hat.
Thanks.
It's very shiny.
It is very shiny. Look how shiny my head is.
Chat room someone in chat room just said something that completely and totally, and all of the dots. And they're
more dots.
Lines, and
more, do I need to put my tinfoil hat on for this? I missed it. Is it gonna?
You might want one. So, that's probably the more important area to be protecting. So you guys remember this thing back here? I don't know if you can quite read that. Starcraft Ghost. Okay. Starcraft Ghost was put on indefinite hold, not canceled, indefinite hold during it was back during the development of Burning Crusade, actually. So about 6 or 7 years ago, it was put on indefinite hold. Now, they had brought on a whole nother company that was console developers. They were actually making it for Xbox. Now we're talking about something that it's a spin-off of an existing franchise. It's on console and on PC. They're making Starcraft Ghost. They're actually going to make it.
I think Law might explode, guys.
All right, show's over. I got nothing else to do. I got nothing else to say. Is that it? Did you just connect all the dots? I think that's it.
It's very, very loose. It's a connection of convenience only, but at the very least, I think they might be building off of the hierarchy that Ghost was putting in place. Because
that makes a ton of sense, though, because that talks about like the combination of things, but not necessarily like one of them that we're like really thinking of, because we're not thinking of the Ghost as an IP since it's attached to StarCraft, but it is.
Right, they ended up folding a lot of the like storyline and stuff that they were working on with StarCraft Ghost. They ended up folding a lot of that into the Wings of Liberty campaign, and there's supposedly going to be a continuation of that in Heart of the Swarm. So I don't think it will be StarCraft Ghost exactly, but there was a lot of groundwork that they laid with StarCraft Ghost that they ended up scrapping. And from what I've been told from people who, actually I have a couple of friends, he doesn't work there anymore, but he used to. There was a friend of mine who used to work at Blizzard, and they actually had, like, for a while, in their break room, they had a StarCraft Ghost thing set up that you could just sit there and play the multiplayer of it. And from what he told me, they actually had a really, really fun multiplayer system set up there. So if they looked at that and they said, okay, well, this whole other thing that's going on with StarCraft Ghost is not really what we want right now. We're not gonna finish that up. But maybe there's some good ideas here. Maybe there's something we can continue to develop here. That would also explain why this has been in development for so long. Why we've been hearing bits and pieces about this for so long now. Is that they've even said before that Titan was in development long before it even was originally leaked. It's StarCraft Ghost. It's StarCraft Ghost.
It's StarCraft Ghost. Yeah,
StarCraft friggin' Ghost.
I'm like shivering right now. This is
all right. Here's what we're gonna do. We don't even have this prepared. Like seriously, we don't have it prepared. It's not ready. But this is such huge news, and I think you're absolutely right. Like I think this is totally right. Our web guy Rich, you got to be watching the show. I'm sure you're watching live. You need to set up a contest page right now with people to be able to vote on what they think this is going to be. Get that thing up by like the end of the show. Tell me when this thing is on. Tie that into this collector's edition giveaway that we've been teasing forever. Let's just do this now. I really was not doing this tonight. This was he's like, what the hell are you doing? I can't get this done. I got to go to sleep. I've got a World of Warcraft Mists of Pandaria collector's edition signed by the entire Blizzard dev team. This thing has got to be worth a pretty penny because there's not many of these floating around. I know there's a couple of them out there. There's not a ton. We've got a few of them, and we'll give away the first one. If you guys are watching live, hopefully this will be up really soon, somewhat tonight. It'll be at gamebreaker.tv/giveaway. That's where we'll put it. And you guys need to leave a comment on this show and let us know if this is crazy or not, because I think you just cracked the code. I think it's Ghost.
Again, that's assuming that what Alphanoid is coming out with is correct. So I want to preface that I'm basing this off of what I guess post-face would be the proper term at this point, but I'm basing that off of what Alphanoid has said being accurate. If that's actually true, then the dots, it's all so very convenient that way. Everything just kind of lines up. The puzzle pieces sort of click into place. We've deciphered the last chevron, and we've now opened the Stargate, as it were. So
I've got to now talk about like 5.2. How am I going to talk about patch 5.2? Who cares? Who cares? Let's all speculate about Ghost for a couple hours. Actually, I want to know a little bit about this. Tell me a little bit about really quick. Give me some background on Ghost and the lore. And why is it different from the StarCraft universe, or why was it separated in the first place? It was just a completely different style of game. Is that it was I think it was a third-person shooter, but it was an action game. It was not a RTS at all. It was just something that was set in the StarCraft universe. You played as Nova, who's a character in Wings of Liberty. You played as Nova, who was another ghost, and you were like doing infiltrating stuff. It was supposed to be kind of like a Splinter Cell sort of thing in the StarCraft universe. They ended up scrapping it because they didn't really like. Well, I guess they may have actually not scrapped it at this point, but they ended up postponing it at the very least because it just turned out it was something that they didn't want to do at the time. They're saying, okay, well, this is not the type of product we want to put out right now. They've been known in the past to just straight up scrap titles for saying, well, this is not
this is not the perfect Blizzard experience. For example, Diablo 3, at least the first time. So, in fact, they actually they let go an entire development staff over Diablo 3. But that was kind of what went on there, is that they had this completely different game. There was supposed to be some sort of multiplayer aspect to it where like you could play as the Zerg and sort of evolve into different forms of the Zerg, which actually is a lot like natural selection and how it played out from the bits and pieces of information I've been able to gather about Starcraft Ghost over the years. It actually sounded like a pretty cool multiplayer experience. It's just for whatever, I guess it was mostly the single player experience they decided they didn't like so much, and they postponed it. And now I guess they're making it again. I don't know. Do you think that this is actually like a cooler setting for the world if for a full blown MMO than just the Starcraft universe itself, like this sliver of it? What do you mean? Sorry, I missed the first part of what you said.
Like, do you think that this is actually like a cooler way to do it instead of just World of Starcraft using the Starcraft universe? They actually surround it around like the Ghost franchise.
It potentially. I kind of don't think that it actually is going to just straight up be that particular mythos anymore. I doubt it would be involving Nova. I doubt it would be directly tied, because they're saying it's a spin-off, and I get the impression that if it was a spin-off, that it would be something that would be somewhat distant from the current stuff that they're doing in StarCraft. So I don't know that it would be directly tied into that, but I think there's a lot of room in the StarCraft mythos to actually do stuff like that, because you look at something like World of Warcraft, for example, took the RTS Warcraft games and took the lore and everything that was going on there and expanded it out like crazy, just ballooned ridiculously. There's
into something you wouldn't have expected, you know?
Yeah, exactly. There's a ton of lore there in StarCraft that you only really ever get into if you watch all the cutscenes, read all the manuals, read all the books and everything. There's tons of story there that you never even hear about. So there's tons of room to make a really, really interesting multiplayer experience like that.
Mind effing blown. All right, we're going to get the giveaway up for the winner. You guys got to leave a comment. Let us know if you think this is right, if you think it's going to be Ghost. And part of the giveaway in this whole craziness is you're going to have to be a subscriber to our new YouTube page. We got a brand new page up, Gamebreaker Nation. Go to youtube.com/Gamebreaker Nation. Make sure to sub up on the page. That's going to be partially how you can win to enter this CE. We're going to be checking to make sure that you are a subscriber on the YouTube page. So if you want to enter to win, go over to youtube.com/GameBreakerNation and go over to GameBreaker.tv/giveaway and check that, and we'll have that poll up and that however we're going to do this giveaway up really soon. So I'm being vague because I have no idea how we're doing it. So they're working on it as we speak. All right, so if that wasn't enough, that's probably enough show, but let's move on. So before the break, Blizzard said patch 5.2 would be hitting the PTR in early January. Yeah, well, it hit yesterday. That was the 2nd of January. So they were not kidding. Did you guys expect it to be like that soon after the holiday? It's like still have a hangover. And you're like, whoa, PTR.
Zarhan kind of said in his email, we're really going to hit the ground running in January, so be prepared, when he sent us over the thing that we were talking about a few weeks ago, which turned out to be the screenshot teaser of patch 5.2. So yeah, I didn't expect it quite this soon. Like, soon in Blizzard terminology normally means within a 2-week period of when you probably thought it was coming.
Yeah.
But yeah, fair play to them. It really is up. It's maybe not the biggest PTR that we've ever seen at this particular moment.
No,
but
it's not. It's there.
It's downloadable. It's there. Exactly, it's there.
There's not a ton of stuff really there, but it's there. So you got no raid yet. There's no new dailies. You can't buy your farm, which from what we know basically makes up the majority of the 5.2 patch that is coming. There's a few things they snuck in now that we can kind of look at. One of the new world bosses is in. Undasta is in. I think we have a clip here.
As you guys already know,
I'll mute you because I don't know who you are. Josh, what do we know so far about Undasta?
He is a dinosaur that is a devil saur that the trolls have apparently been like experimenting with and putting all sorts of voodoo on him, which I guess means they gave him a hat.
A really lovely hat.
Yeah.
He looks really cool.
he's a world boss, and he's actually got a few mechanics that are like really like raid wipingly precise.
Yeah.
Like,
did you get a chance to pull him?
Casting, I didn't get a chance to pull him. No, unfortunately.
I did. Well, not me personally. I wasn't tanking, but I was in a group, a ragtag bunch of scamps who were trying to take him down. And I think basically we ended up with probably those skeletons on this guy's video. That was probably us. But yeah, he's got some real, some pug stomping stuff actually.
Yeah, he does. From what I was reading in the dungeon journal, he does like a frontal cleave or frontal cone attack that'll basically kill anybody standing in it.
Yeah, you've really got to run from that.
And he also has one of those awesome raid-wide interrupts that if you don't stop casting at just the right time, all of your healers are now locked out for 10 seconds.
10 seconds!
It's not so good. Not ideal.
10 seconds! Because I was reading that. I was flipping through the dungeon journal as well before we pulled it. I was on my healing shaman on the PTR. And I was like, oh, it's going to be, like Halthus Wormbreaker had one of those, and Blackhorn had one of those, and it's going to be fine. And I was like, scrolling, so what? 10 seconds? That's like a year in gameplay terminology. The heck? That's just bizarre. But yeah, and he's also got this crazy thing. I can't remember, do you remember what it's called, Josh? The Spirit Flame. Spirit Flame something or other. The jumping effect. Did you see that?
I didn't get a chance to pull him. I actually, I was like, oh, Undas is up. I'll try to get a group for him together after I make this other video. And I made another video that I ended up posting on TankSpot. And by the time I came out, he was just not there anymore. And I was like, did someone kill him, or did he just despawn and he's just not there anymore?
Just reset. He's got this thing. It's called, I believe it's got a Spirit Flame something, but it's a targeted effect onto one player that then does 150k damage. So like not unhealable damage, like a fair chunk of your health, but not the end of the world. Which then jumps to any nearby player, dealing 50% more damage every jumping up to 20 times. And that.
That thing. Yeah,
that was what totally owned the raid I was in. It's like, okay, we lost a few to the code. We lost a few to the code. Oh my god, what is happening?
What did you think of the mechanics of it? Was it a fun encounter, even though you just kept dying and waiting?
It's kind of refreshing to see a world boss which actually needs some tactics, although it's also going to be kind of interesting, I suppose, because it's the Tapta faction as well now with 5.2. It's just going to be a bunch of people just like literally die, run back, die, run back, die, run back, and just keep it, as long as it keeps engaged to that one faction, it's even easier to just, do that strategy.
Yeah, I almost wonder if they're trying to tune him around just having a billion people there, so that, okay, yeah, sure, 40 people just died, but that's all right. You got 2 other raid teams that are attacking him at the moment. It doesn't even matter. Exactly. Because it's tap to faction, so you can have as many people as are online attacking this guy.
The entire alliance. Or the entire horde.
Yeah, the entire alliance probably still couldn't kill him.
In addition to that, we also got a quick peek at the layout of the new island. So for a really brief period, you could actually queue up for the new scenarios that were being added to 5.2. The scenarios themselves were really incomplete, and they really were not ready for testing. So Blizzard turned them off like really after just a couple hours, but I don't wonder why they even turned them on. But anyone who got in one of them before they actually got a chance to run around, it looks like mostly a complete version of Thunder Isle, right?
Mm-hmm.
Did you actually get in, Josh?
Yeah, I got in there. I was trying for like forever to do this scenario, and one of them was tear down this wall or something like that, Mr. Gorbachev. It was like the first step was find these explosives. So I was like, all right, I gotta find these explosives, and I was like running around. I'm like, where are these? There was like an arrow on my map, but it pointed off to like off the island entirely. So I followed that, and I was like, okay, it's not over here. So it must be the arrows in the wrong spot. And I'm like running around. I'm like, wait a second. This is the whole island I'm running around in. This is the whole thing. There weren't any like mobs, or only a couple of them. It was like the entire island that I was running around in the scenario. So I was like, well, all right, I'll make a video on that then. So I ended up making a video on it. And that's
what did you learn? Were you able to learn anything from just running around?
Not too much. It was mostly just kind of like speculating on what the different areas could be. I did find what I'm pretty sure is the Lightning Forge, and I say that because there's lightning in a forge. But
yeah. You're wasted in gaming, man. You should be a detective.
Yeah, really, seriously.
First Starcraft Ghost, second I'm just connecting dots, man.
You just like drawing lines.
Yeah,
that lore is perceptive. Woo.
But no, it seems like there's just lots and lots of different areas that you'll be able to unlock as time goes on. I counted something like, it was like 7 or 8 different like sub-regions of the whole area. So it seems like there's a lot of potential unlocking of the continent or the island that you can do over the course of the dailies. And it doesn't seem too spread out either, which is kind of nice. It's not like sometimes right now in the 5.1 dailies, one thing that is kind of annoying about them is every once in a while you get like the cave dailies or something. Like there's the dailies that are just off in the middle of nowhere and it takes you forever to actually do them and it's a pain. They all seem relatively nearby, relatively close to the spawn in points, or where I assume the spawn in points will be. So it does look promising so far at the very least.
Other than that, I mean, pretty much the patch is kind of slim. There's a handful of new spells, but not all that stuff is in yet. Some of the transmog restrictions have been lifted a bit. Now you can transmog anything that shares animation. So, for example, you can, if you have a one-handed sword, you can transmog into a one-handed axe, but you can't do fist weapons. Two-handed axe, you can transmog into a two-handed mace, something like that, but not into pole arms. We talked about this a while back. I think everybody was on the same page. This was kind of like how everybody expected this to work, right? Because some people are kind of upset about how this is working, and I think that they kind of are bummed about the pole arm restrictions and things like that. But wasn't this kind of known how that was going to work? It was all based on the animation.
Yeah, that's kind of what we knew before. I remember them saying something about sharing animations at some point too. So it's kind of what we knew. I can get why people are upset about like the polearm restriction. I know for whatever reason I've been getting a whole lot of questions lately about why aren't there polearms? Why aren't there there hasn't been like a strength polearm in like 3 expansions. But I keep getting questions about them. So I'm like, apparently lots of people really like strength polearms. So I can get that that's something people want. Personally, as a Blood Elf female, I just cannot stand the polearm animations, so I was more than fine that there haven't been strength polearms.
It's the poking stick, isn't it? That's the difference between the... So if you've got a sword or an axe or a mace, it's a kind of a swing over the head and then a sort of chop to the side. And yeah, exactly what Josh is doing right now. It's poking. So it's like this. Like
poke.
Poking stick. And it's like it's kind of a bizarre animation. But yeah, that's the difference. That's what polearms do, is this. That's why you can't transmog a polearm into axes, swords, etc.
So that's pretty much about it on the old PTR. But how about World of Starcraft Ghost, Josh?
This is it. They've been watching Legendary all this time, and it's been there. Like, what's the word I'm looking for? Subliminally messaging them all this time. Starcraft Ghost.
All of a sudden, he's like, it's been behind Josh the whole time. The answer has been there. Week after week, we have been trying to figure out what to make next, and it's right there.
The answer's been in front of us all this time.
Or behind us in some cases.
That's pretty much it. There has been some data mine stuff out of the PTR files. I love the data mine stuff. Ladies and gentlemen, I should have a drum roll. I give you Defense of the Alehouse. So, just so you guys understand what you're looking at, this is data mined material. This is not up on the PTR. This is actually a map file for what appears to be the Dota-styled battleground that Blizzard supposedly has been working on for ages. It's kind of hard to tell from this video and this flyover exactly what we're looking at, but it kind of looks like there's 2 bases, looks like 3 lanes, and possibly a jungle in here. I don't know, we've been talking about this since BlizzCon 2011. And last time we brought it up, it sounded like Blizzard wasn't even sure if this would work in the game. So what do you guys think? I mean, Olivia, do you think this could actually work? Think they're going to pull it off?
it's quite a sort of complicated setup for a battleground compared to what people are used to. But then they have been really working to bring in different kinds of battlegrounds lately with the, they've gone away from the pure node capture ones into the, the Powerball style. They've got the mine pushing the cart style of thing. And I guess that they might be giving it a try. I mean, it's still, obviously, this is just a pure data mined, like a container folder almost. So I don't think we should set too much huge store in it. But I mean, they could.
I mean, it is called Defense of the Alehouse. It does kind of spell out
it does have a
Dota.
name.
I mean,
I know. I looked at that title. I was just like, Defense of the Alehouse. Oh, good job, you guys.
I love that name, especially in the face of the whole lawsuit they had with Valve a while back, where they were like, "Oh, we can't use Dota, but we can call it the same thing with a different acronym, or the same acronym with a different name." But you know what I mean?
We know what you mean, Josh. We know what you mean.
Yeah.
I mean, really, I guess what everybody questions is, can they pull this off? Because Dota is such a much more complex, much more complex than a typical battleground. I don't know. What do you think of the average WoW player, Josh? Do you think the average WoW player is interested in a Dota-style battleground in World of Warcraft?
I do not know any World of Warcraft players that don't also play League of Legends, or at least haven't played League of Legends at some point. I don't know a single one. Like, at all. Like, obviously they exist. It's just of my circle of friends in World of Warcraft, every single one of them also plays League of Legends. And I mean, when you think about it, what's the only game with more players than World of Warcraft? League of Legends. So I don't know, man.
I'm kind of there with you. I'm like thinking it through, and I'm like, yeah, I don't know anybody that I don't know if I know anybody that hasn't played League of Legends. Period. But especially, I can't think of anybody who I don't know anybody that plays World of Warcraft who has not played League of Legends.
Yeah, at least played it, or some form, maybe not even necessarily League of Legends, but like Heroes of New Earth, or Dota itself, or Aeon of Strife, or Smite for that matter.
I mean, that's the first place this goes. I was going to say, like, how do you guys think this is going to work? And I mean, obviously, the first thing I'm thinking of is Smite is the closest thing we've sort of seen to a 3D on the ground, like perspective, World of Warcraft-esque perspective, Dota style map. And I actually like Smite. I think it worked quite well. I mean, there's balancing issues and things like that, but it's not even out yet.
Yeah, I like Smite a lot. That was the first thing I thought of when I was thinking about this. I was like, yeah, I really liked Defense of the Alehouse when it was called Smite. So I'll probably like it when it's called Defense of the Alehouse too. But no, I still think that the whole, like the entirety of it is a little bit too complicated. Like in a typical like MOBA style game, you've got XP, you earn levels, you've also got gold, which you use to buy items, and there's like, you could, I suppose, technically consider like killing towers and stuff a progression path as well. So you've got like 3 different ways that you actually progress through the thing, and I feel like that's probably a little bit too complicated for a battleground, especially if it's something that's going to end up being in the random queue, because you don't want to be like, oh, I might get a Arathi Basin, or I might get this.
It's going to be the blacklisted one. That's kind of my prediction of it. It's gonna, if they make it too complicated, Alterac Valley is already kind of too complicated for some people. Like, you've got the Zerg strategy and the Scorched Earth strategy, and the Scorched Earth strategy actually requires a bit of planning and forethought. People don't go for that unless they're in pre-mates, and they're trying to put a stop to that at the minute. So it's something like this does sound like it might be quite complex, and you're actually going to need to know what's happening. And yeah, the ones which are strategically simpler tend, from what I've gathered anyway, to be more popular. Like, people like the Arathis, the Warsong Gulchers better than the Silver Shard Mines and the Alterac Valleys, and so on and so forth. And even when they do take on the, like Isle of Conquest, they take on the actual correct way you're meant to do it, then people just, on the other side, just like kill the gates, kill the boss, done. It's essentially PvE in the more complicated battlegrounds. Strand of the Ancients might be an exception to that, because it's hard to PvE it.
I think I wonder about, like, thinking about this is how, I mean, if they set it up completely just like, League or Smite for that matter, with, creeps, the whole 9, the way it's played, the way it works, and actually like how they actually put the mechanics of it together, can something like this truly be, can it really be as balanced as those games try? I mean, League is, but Smite's working towards it, like I said, but you know, those games tend that type of gameplay needs some really like strict balance to make it work. And I just wonder, with all the variables with World of Warcraft and how it's set up, if that can ever really take place.
Well, I think what they're going to have to do, no matter what, is they're going to have to simplify the MOBA process drastically to the point that people will look at this and say, "Well, that's not really a MOBA at all," because, well, yeah, it's in an MMORPG. It's inside of another game already. You can't do a complete separate game inside of it. That's a bad idea. I'm expecting that there will still be some form of character progression through the battleground, but that'll probably be something just as simple as, I killed a creep, I got a token. I killed a player, I got 3 tokens. I can go back and turn 10 tokens or something like that in for a buff of some kind. Cool. Now I'm doing.
So you think it'll be completely set up? You think it'll be completely set up like a whole metagame of playing the game, leveling up throughout the entire process of a match and everything, just like a normal Dota game?
Yeah, I can imagine it being Wintergraspy. Like, you know, in Wintergrass you had to sort of increase your rank and like bump up through the ranks, and you could do various actions within the battleground to get other rewards. I can imagine them doing it like that. I don't know about actually. I'm not sure whether they would be able to do it where you're actually leveling your character. I don't know. I'm undecided on that. I can see them doing it very similar style to Wintergrass.
Yeah, I'm pretty convinced personally that it's going to be like, maybe not even necessarily turning in tokens, but having it not be like, don't go back and buy items. That doesn't really make sense, because there already is an item. So like, that would be just kind of, it would feel redundant in gameplay, going back and buying items and earning gold and such inside the game. But it has to be something specific to that. Levels also is something that's already in the game. So it seems like that would feel very redundant to also have levels just inside this specific thing. So I'm imagining it's going to be something very, very simple along the lines of, I killed a creep and got 1 something. I killed, like, even if it's just a stack of a buff or something. I killed a player and got 3 of that or something like that. And then that would also open up the possibility for jungling too. You could say, okay, I'm going to go into the jungle for a minute. I'm going to kill some creeps that are in there, get some stacks from that. I can get my stacks up faster that way and get more and more damage as time goes on or something like that. I imagine doing it like that and having it be that simple would also mean that the games end up being a lot faster too, because it means that somebody before too long will start to spiral out of control and they'll steamroll the other team, and that'll be the end of the game at that point. So it's going to be I don't see this evolving into a metagame of, okay, we send the priest in the Death Knight bottom lane, we send the hunter middle lane, and we send the mage top lane. No,
I think the lanes are going to be basically just pinch points. Like, most battlegrounds have some kind of pinch point where you have the opposition cornered to an extent, and they're sort of compacted into a smaller space, which makes them easier to kill. I can imagine them having something like where, oh my god, I can never remember their names. The big dudes in Alterac Valley, chat room will know their names. The Frost Dude and the Tree Dude.
Frost Dude and Tree Dude, I'm with you.
Frost Dude and Tree Dude, you know the one.
Loktalar and I don't remember.
Yeah, Loktalar and the other one. And
the other one.
Where you build the other one, where you build up tokens, you kill things, you get the tokens together, you all go together into the middle, and you summon something. And then I can see them doing that as well. I mean, it could be quite a huge and epic thing. But then it makes me wonder: do people really want huge, epic 45-minute battlegrounds anymore in WoW? Like, you know, ye olde Alterac Valley, which people talk about, oh, I was there for a week. I didn't sleep, I didn't eat. That's the thing. I don't think people really want a battleground that even lasts 45 minutes anymore.
Well, that's something that I've been saying for a while. Is I think people still want that sort of thing. They just don't want it in the random queue with Warsong Gulch.
Yeah,
like they don't want to have a chance to randomly get 60-minute battleground, 5-minute battleground. Like that sucks, because you sit down and you go, man, I want a really epic experience right now, and you get a Wrathy Basin. And you're like, well, that's not what I wanted. Or you like, I have 10 minutes to play, and you. That's what I was gonna say.
You can't plan your game time at all with something like that.
No,
I think a large portion of the player base would sit and play 40-minute to an hour matches like this. If it's a really compelling game and it plays really well, I mean, just look at League and how many people will play that over and over. I think they will. Any possible chance you think we'll see this in patch 5.2?
I don't think so.
Slim to
I think the reason we're seeing things in there right now is because of their accelerated patch cycle, and it's something like, well, we've got this done, quick, put it in the files so we can use it for the rest of the development, and they're like, all right, let's build a PTR patch, and that just happened to sneak its way in there, too. I don't think seeing seeing the map files showing up in there is really any indication. It's possible. Like, maybe it's just...
It'd be cool.
They secretly have it done, but yeah.
Yeah, I think the PvP, a lot of the people in the PvP community that I sort of keep an eye on myself anyhow, have got really excited thinking, oh my god, do you think this means we're going to get new PvP content, like, with almost every patch? And it's like, no, guys, we're not.
Probably.
We're not. This is not
You're
how
still
it works
playing
in this
World of
game.
Warcraft.
We're still playing World of Warcraft. We're still not going to get new PvP content in every patch. But actually, the idea of putting this on a separate queue, that's an awesome idea. Put this in a queue with Wintergrass and Tolbarad is not really the same. Put this in a queue with Wintergrass, maybe, and do it something along those lines, where it's a separate type of PvP.
Or just have it be its own thing, even.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, just have it be its own thing, really. Like it almost seems like its own separate thing. All right, there's still plenty to talk about. Ghost Crawler's tweeting again, so we got to talk about that. But really first, got to tell you guys about Netflix. If you guys have not signed up, go over to netflix.com/GameBreakerTV. Sign up for a free 30-day trial. Absolutely no strings attached. You sign up free for 30 days. You get to use the streaming service to your iPad, your iPhone, your Xbox, your PS3, whatever kind of electronic device you've got. And if you love the service, which I know you're going to love it, you sign up. It's like $8 a month thereafter for the streaming service. Check it out. It's at netflix.com/GameBreakerTV. I wanted to save this for you guys. I brought this up because I always bring the site up, and I signed in and it said, want more suggestions? How often do you watch raunchy? Well, I would say that's often.
Often.
Opposites attract. Well, I'll say often. Gay and lesbian. I'm definitely not homophobe, but I'll say sometimes. Thanks for sharing. Oh, maybe it'll. Oh, I thought there was going to be some big payoff.
I was hoping it would update all your titles.
That's what I thought. I saved it for the show just for that. I was like, oh, this would be great. It's asking for a quiz and it's going to like suggest stuff. This would be fun. Let's see what it suggests.
This is totally raunchy.
Because we watched Chasing Amy the other night, which, by the way, is not as good as Gary's rating. 2. It's 2. Yeah, it's not as good as you remember it, so I skipped that one.
You remember watching that when you were younger? Yeah, just keep remembering that. Don't go watch it again.
But there's a good one. You got Breaking Bad, of course. Still talking about I gotta start watching Sons of Anarchy. And I'm not really watching The Walking Dead. You're gonna hate me, not feeling it so much. But god damn, do I love The Walking Dead video game.
Oh, it's really good.
That's what I've been here. I need to do a Just a Tip on that one.
Yes, you do need to do a Just a Tip. Get it for.
I'm scared of it though.
You don't have an iPad though.
Why are you afraid, Josh?
No, I have an iPad.
Oh, you do have an iPad. I thought you had a Google tablet for some reason.
Yes, that too. Long story.
One of each. Why are you scared of the Walking Dead game, Josh Allen? What's wrong?
Because I heard that at some point you might saw someone's appendages off.
Episode 2! And you're like,
episode 2,
bam! Bam! And I'm like cringing in bed. My wife's like, what's wrong with you? And I'm just like, I'm cutting some guy's leg off with an axe. And every time I hit the button, it really feels like I'm cutting this guy's leg off. No, it's awesome. So yeah, that's on the iPad, and you can watch Netflix on the iPad. There's the segue for you. So go over to netflix.com/GameBreakerTV. Sign up for your free 30-day trial. If you haven't done it, do it today. All right, so next up, so pretty much outside of the patching, the PTR, not too much has happened. Has been the holidays. Devs are taking off, being merry, smoking weed. It's because it's what they do. Except for Ghostcrawler. Apparently, he's been tweeting up a storm, dropping hints towards several changes, some huge changes. Let's start with this one. So first up, someone asked him about an update. They wanted an update on 25-man rating incentives, and he said this. He said, we have an idea, but it's a bit controversial, so we're not ready to spring it on you yet.
Done.
What do you think? I mean, it's controversial. I mean, it sounds like whatever they're working on is kind of big, right? I don't know how we can top this show with all of this, the World of Starcraft talk, but any clue as to what this could possibly be? What do you think?
They're going to cancel World of Warcraft and everyone will play Starcraft Ghost.
I think
I
that's
don't know.
definitely. I think it's a definite.
Yeah, I think that's it.
I don't know. I don't know what it could be.
Olivia, do you have
There's
any?
various options. There's various options it could be. It's there's things like they could switch it up, like just change it into Asian, like the Asian servers have. Maybe they could do that. I don't know.
What do you think?
What do you
like,
think, chat room?
Well, like Eastern servers giving 25-man raiders higher item level drops. You think that? Could
they could do that.
The reason I don't think it'll be that one is because there was another tweet he did very, very recently. Someone asked him about just having like 25-mans drop already upgraded items or something, so that it was like at least in that case it would be gear that 10-mans could get. They just have to upgrade them through Valor points. But he said no, we don't want to do anything that would give 25-man a solid advantage, like a straight up advantage to progression, because then all the, like they don't want to, like right now obviously people tend to gravitate towards 10-mans a little bit more because they're just kind of easier, and since the 10-mans have been introduced, so many people who like it was kind of this vicious cycle. There were so many people who would rather be doing 10-man, so immediately they just switched over to do 10-mans because they're like, all right, I only do 25-man rating because 10-man isn't an option. Now 10-man is an option, so I do that instead. And so all of these 25-man guilds suddenly went, crap, we just lost 10 people. And they had to kind of implode in on each other, and that's just sort of a process that's a snowball that's been continuing to roll and roll and roll and roll, and it's turning into a bigger issue as time goes on. But they don't want to switch that issue back around and have it all of a sudden be that 10-mans aren't an option anymore either, because they do still want the 10-mans to be a legitimate method of rating. So that's why I don't think that it would be a gear advantage for 25-man, because then you would like a solid gear advantage for 25-man, because then you would just everybody would want to do 25-man because you progress faster.
What if it's cross-realm raiding for 25-man sizes?
That's something that I was thinking about, because to me the big issue right now, it isn't that there aren't enough people to do 25-man raids. It isn't that there aren't enough people interested in 25-man raiding to keep it accessible. The issue is that the people who are interested in 25-man raiding are kind of interspersed all over the place at the moment. This is part of why I've been arguing for, okay, let's just get freaking free server transfers, because there are more than 25 people who are interested in raiding. Incidentally, as that turns out. It's just connecting with each other has been the problem. So doing something like that where maybe you can do cross-realm, like current tier raids. Obviously you can do like LFRs and stuff right now, but current tiers has been locked off. But maybe if you could do cross-realm 25-man raids, you could have a 25-man guild say, hey, we're missing somebody, here's a recruit, a potential recruit, we'll go ahead and pull them in. That would make people more, it would make recruiting as a 25-man a lot easier, because people would be, they would be more willing to drop that transfer fee eventually to come over to that. Oh, maybe they don't even need to do the transfer fee at all, but it would be something that they'd be more open to.
Well, yeah, exactly. I mean, it seems kind of harsh to, to have to drop everything and move all your characters over for a 25-man raiding. Particularly, like, there are other things which can keep people on servers than raiding. But yeah, I think it would be a real boon, particularly for 25-man guilds. I have to admit, I don't fully understand why they haven't implemented the possibility to do current raids cross-realm already. I mean, I guess it's because, like, the cynical view would be because, they'll miss out on the transfer fees. But
well, honestly, I don't think it is the transfer fees. Honestly, I don't. I mean, obviously that's something that the number crunchers are going to say, that we're going to miss out on a lot of money if you guys make this change. But honestly, like, looking at it from, it would be easier for me to recruit people, but it would also be easier for other people to recruit people away from me, is the thing.
True.
Like, if we have a bad week, and suddenly people are like, oh, well, I could just go raid with, like, Blood Legion's looking for a healer, I'll go raid with Blood Legion instead. I'm a good healer, I'll go raid with them instead. Obviously, I don't think that the people in months behind are exactly prime pickings for Blood Legion, but that's something that then could potentially be, or, a guild that's just a little bit farther progressed ahead. You say, well, screw months behind, I'm going to go raid with this other guild instead, because I can just hop around like crazy like that. I do think that pure cross-realm raiding, and this is why this is something that could potentially be a bit controversial, pure cross-realm raiding current tier like that there is a lot of little intricate things that when you really, really start to mull over what this could mean, it could end up screwing over guilds in the process. It could get to the point where you just don't have guilds anymore. You just have a collection of people on a website like Open Raid, for example. They do pass tier raids all the time through Real ID, and it's actually a pretty awesome website. But all of a sudden, going to Open Raid and finding your raid group for the evening becomes the proper way to progress.
Totally. Well, what about, here's another thought. What about if they somehow employ the CRZ technology to facilitate finding raid groups? What if there's some method that they've come up with whereby you can take people who have CRZ'd into your server and form actually use them as a raiding group, like a fixed pool of CRZ servers? Like, so your server A is always pooled with B, C, D, and E, and then somehow employ that technology to make cross-realm raiding, but only with certain realms or something? This is a bit vague because I'm just kind of thinking out loud here. But that could work. That could mean it's not the death of guilds quite so much, and there's not quite as much flexibility. But maybe some means whereby they can employ the CRZ technology to do that.
Guys, I just got an email.
I'm trying to figure that one out.
Just got an email. Wow. So what you've been doing while we've been talking, Gary?
Nope.
Is that actually a Big Daddy behind her? I couldn't really tell. It looked a little bit like a Big Daddy.
Yeah.
Where were we? What about it was possibly splitting lockouts?
I think
what if it's splitting lockouts and letting people run both?
There may be a way to make that work, but it would have to be done in a way that didn't force people into running both again, because that was kind of the problem. Like, what ended up happening during Wrath of the Lich King was 10-man guilds they weren't even a thing because 10-man raids didn't give the proper item. They didn't give the higher item level gear. But even if it was like that nowadays, 10-man guilds would not be able to run 25-mans because they don't have 25 people. So they're naturally behind in progression because they can't run the second raid. 25-mans then also feel like they have to run the 10-mans because that gives them twice as much loot every week. So they would have to do it in a way that shared the loot lockout, perhaps like LFR does. But at that point, what's the incentive for actually running?
Wait! You kind of tapped us out. What if? What if they've talked about this? What if they merge 25 and 10-man to make it 15-man raids?
That would certainly be controversial.
that would definitely be controversial. That would.
But that's not like off the table.
No, they've spoken about it. Like there was a blue post about it a while back saying that they saying that they kind of liked the idea of it. I don't know. If they did that, I feel like they would have to keep both 25s and 10s as well, and it's just another. It would just be a third size because the 10-man guilds would be like, oh, well, where are we going to get another 5 players from? And the 25-man guilds might be happier. But I don't think you could remove, but I don't think, again, you could remove 25s and be like, yeah, you're done. 15s for you now. Have fun. Because then people who really like 25-man raiding would be a bit miffed about that.
Yeah, it's definitely something that I feel like if you scrapped World of Warcraft and made it again, going from, like, if they could just do it all over again from the start, then 15-man raids might make more sense because maybe this is just constant semi-downsizing as time goes on. Yeah. Who knows? Maybe once we have 15-man raids, maybe then people say, 15-man raids take too many people. It needs to be 10. And then we have
9.5-man raids. 9.5-man raids are coming to patch 5.3.
Yeah. I do think that the 15-man size it scales a little bit more naturally because as it is right now, in a 5-man instance, you have 1 tank, 1 healer, and 3 DPS. In a 10-man raid instance, you have 2 tanks, 2 or 3 healers, and however many, what does that be? 7 or 8 DPS? Whatever. A number of, no. whatever, a
Several
number
DPS.
of DPS that remains
5 or
after
6.
that. But the tanks and healers numbers are the important ones. And then if you go to a 25-man raid, well, now you have 3 tanks for your 5 groups of 5 instead of 5 tanks.
Yeah.
So it does kind of scale a little bit better there in terms of class distribution. And I do think that if they were to scrap the whole thing and do it all over again, then 15-man raids would probably make the most sense. That's just sort of a lesson learned from the years of playing and being around World of Warcraft. But looking at how the game is now and saying, okay, well, right now we have 25-man raids and we have 10-man raids, is it really worth it to say, okay, you just 15-man raids now, and that's it? And
Yeah.
I don't think that just sliding 15-man raids in the middle there and saying, okay, we're gonna do this too, I don't think that really makes sense either, because now they got to tune 3 different versions of the raid instance.
Chat room wants half-man raids. They want gnome raids.
Yeah.
Just half-man.
Just one gnome.
Just one gnome. That's it. That's it. You just go on one gnome.
Yeah, actually, someone I don't even know how to say that. Draconi Sarius in the chat room just said scaled raid, so the raid scales to however many people you have. That's kind of a cool idea, but then your composition's going to be really tricky.
See, here's the thing about scaled raids. It's a really interesting idea, and I guess it's possible, but I would personally be pretty upset if that's what they did.
How come?
Gary's gonna take a nap. Because here's the thing.
I feel like this is the episode of PST's turn coming on. Hang on, I'm gonna watch. I'm sitting back in my lazy chair. Go ahead, Josh.
Yeah. Mechanics don't scale like that, unfortunately. They don't, like, you can't just say, oh, the numbers are bigger or whatever, because you look at debuffs. At what point do you say, okay, well, now the debuff goes from it hits 3 people to 4 people? Because at that point is when you say that's how many people you need to bring. You need to bring as many people as you can without getting to that next bump up in difficulty on the encounter, because there will be those bumps. It's not going to be just a steady stream top to bottom. It's going to be just bumps in difficulty as time goes on. You can't, there's no way to tune mechanics that way. It's not mathematically possible.
Have you scaled this math out? Have you?
Show your workings, Josh Allen.
If you ask me to do a geometric proof, I quit right now. No, just no.
Over.
Yeah. No, it doesn't work that way, unfortunately. You'll have one fight where you say, okay, this is easiest if you bring 17 people. You'll have the next fight where you say, this is easiest if you bring 14. The next one you say, it's easiest if you bring as many people as you can get. And that just leads into having this huge roster of people sitting around. You have to recruit a whole bunch of people. It just, on some fights, you sit 8 of them. And that it doesn't work. It's a really great idea for some other game, would not work in World of Warcraft.
All right, well that's the tame stuff. That's like the training wheels of Ghost Crawler's tweets. So we've got some other big stuff here. Few possible big changes for PvP. First off, apparently there's some changes coming to PvP gearing. And he tweeted this. He said the PvP gear in 5.2 will work a bit differently. We'll explain it all soon.
Dun,
Olivia, what is he talking about here? What's so off about PvP gear right now? And we haven't really talked much about this at all.
No, we haven't talked about it a great deal. There's some problems where at the moment we kind of spoke about it briefly when we actually spoke with Ghostcrawler, and there's some problems at the moment where if you're a person joining with an alt or a person joining in late season, you have got one heck of a time to catch up. So basically the thing is that with the Conquest gear, there's a big gap in item level between the Conquest gear and the Honor gear. If you remember, I think right back to the start of Pandaria, they brought in the Honor gear, which for some reason someone had failed to tick a box somewhere in a form, and someone had spilt coffee on it or whatever, and it was higher item level than the Justice Point gear, which was never what they intended. So they scaled the Honor gear down to the Justice gear. Fine. But they didn't then scale the Conquest gear down. So Conquest gear is a big leap up from Honor gear. Add into that equation the item upgrades which are available for Conquest, and the speed at which, if you're high rated, you can earn Conquest, then you've got like a huge gap between even someone who's fully Honor geared and someone who's like maxed themselves out in Conquest gear. And basically that's the problem at the moment, is the catch up is it's not that great for PvE either, don't get me wrong, but for PvP it is literally insane at the moment. Someone who's in full upgraded Conquest gear, I mean, I don't actually know the maths. I mean, I'm no, I'm worse at maths than Josh Allen. But it's just...
No, you're not.
It's, I don't know.
No one's that good.
No one's that but it's kind of, I don't actually know what I was trying to say is I don't know if it's actually, I'm pretty sure it's possible to be nearing the completion of a conquest set at this point. I'm not 100% sure of that. I'm sure chat room will correct me if I'm wrong. But even someone who's partially conquest geared, someone who's been maxing themselves out every week, someone who's relatively high rated, can walk into a battleground and be a wrecking ball. And that is not a good situation. So the PvP gear is kind of problematic at the moment. And this is such a cryptic tweet from Ghostcrawler. He is such a tease. It's like, how? What are you gonna do?
And look at him in his picture. He's all menacing.
I like the sort of the grin that we had on the. Yeah, he's like doing the big arms.
Sharon says he looks like Vladimir Putin. He does. He looks all. Look at him.
Gosh.
Love that picture.
Yeah. Like, we will nerf you, Mike Shaftnet.
We will nerf you. Here's the next quote. I might as well read it since it's up there and you guys are all reading it already. This is a pretty controversial one. He said, WoW is an RPG. Getting gear is a big part of that. We don't think the game would have legs, even in PvP, without it. We kind of freaked out last time GC had a crazy tweet about, the gear grind. But man, now he's just saying the game wouldn't even have legs without it.
Ouch. Is he essentially saying that WoW PvP is so bad that if there wasn't a gear grind, no one would do it?
Sorry, I
missed that joke. Saying? Is he saying it's so bad that people wouldn't do it if there wasn't a gear grind? Is it really what he's saying?
Here's the thing, and I wanted to talk. I'm disappointed in myself because this is my topic for the Weekly Marmot. I didn't get a chance to get this done yet because patch 5.2 happened. But I have a big old rant on the way regarding this. Here's the thing. Get yourself comfy.
I can't put my
I'm so happy I got this mic stand. Go ahead, Josh.
Here's the thing. MMORPGs are boring. They are. They're boring. Without the gear grind in there, they're boring, and that's why we play them, because we want to be working towards something. That's the part of the game that we enjoy. It's not necessarily the minutia of I really love pressing action buttons. That's amazing. Oh, I love not standing in fire. This is the best gameplay. No, that's stupid. That's there to give you something to distract you while you're playing the actual game, which is grinding for gear. That's why you play MMORPGs. So for him to come out and say something like this, I 100% agree. I think World of Warcraft would be boring as hell if there was no gear grind. If there was nothing to be earning in World of Warcraft, there's no game. There's nothing there to play anymore. That's it. I would play PlanetSide. I would play Blacklight Retribution.
Olivia Grace contributing editor to Gamebreaker TV. Would you agree or disagree? What do you? I don't even.
No. I would not agree with you, Josh Allen. I would agree with you in certain contexts, but for me, it's more than the gear. It's like, it's puzzle solving. I mean, sure, the puzzles aren't that hard. Like, don't stand in the angry, glowy floor. But do stand in the good, like, matte-colored floor. That's not hard, but it's fun to do stuff with people. And for me, PvP, I look at my conquest, like, container at the end of last season if you are going to assert that the only reason people do PvP is to get gear upgrades. Why is there people sitting around with tens of thousands of conquests sitting in their alts pockets and still doing arenas every week like me?
I don't mean that the game I'm apparently just a bunch of bars now. I don't mean that the game, that you can't enjoy playing the game outside of that. I just mean that if the gear grind wasn't there, you'd probably be playing something else, because there are other games that focus more on the actual gameplay elements itself. There's so much of what happens in an MMORPG that just, it's clunky, really. Like, that's what, even a game like Guild Wars 2, like, which has, I actually think Guild Wars 2 makes a great example here, because that's a game that they came out with no grinding whatsoever, and then they had to add it because they were not keeping people's attention. And you even look at first-person shooters nowadays. They're all adding some sort of grind because that's just what the modern gamer enjoys. We want to constantly have something that we're working towards. And even if it's not like completely constant, even if it's something where, okay, the new season comes, or excuse me, the season's been going on for a while, I still play them just because I enjoy playing them and I want to keep up my skills, I just like playing it, whatever. That's sure, cool. That will keep your attention for a little while. But it's those spurts of new season comes out, time to grind out new gear, that keep you continuing to play the game for years upon years upon years upon years. If there was no gear grind in World of Warcraft, it would not have any subscribers today. None.
You know, I do agree with that. I think there's the notion of incremental progression is actually very important to World of Warcraft and to coffee, apparently. But it's important. It's an important thing. It's important to always have something that you're trying to do, to improve your character. But I do think that one of the reasons why I like the arena side so much is it's kind of an escape from that. And I don't think I'm alone in that, but I don't think I'm representative of a majority of players in that sense, that you would genuinely do something because it's its own reward. And I don't know how long that would hold anyone's attention. So yeah, I agree on that, but I do think that there are elements of the game which are fun enough that they are their own reward.
Josh, didn't you say something about this on PST? Like, do you think it has something to do with some sort of PvE concern?
I'm talking about the PvP gear?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this is something that someone actually pointed out to me that I ended up talking about on PST that I got to thinking about. I was like, holy crap, yeah, that's actually a major issue. So they want PvE players to be constantly having to go through from tier to tier, in the LFR especially. In order to do the tier 15 raids, they're going to assume that you've at least done tier 14 in LFR. And then once tier 16 rolls around, they're going to assume that you did tier 14 in LFR, then tier 15 in LFR, at the very least, to get enough gear to start on tier 16 normals. They want players to be going through those different tiers. They want a more Burning Crusade-like progression. The problem is, if you can just go do arenas for a few hours a week and get a full set of almost as good, but not quite, like at least as good as LFR gear, because that's the item level they're sitting at right now, is that it's just about as good as LFR gear. If you can get that gear from just doing arenas, if you just completely catch up, then that completely sidesteps that system entirely, and no one will do that. They will just sit there and go, okay, well, it's way faster for me to gear up by doing PvP. So there needs to be some sort of something that they do to, if they really want PvE players to have to go through that progression, there needs to be something that changes somewhere. That it doesn't necessarily have to be with the PvP system either, but something somewhere needs to change to allow that to actually happen, or it won't. You'll just have people saying, okay, well, it's time to do it's time to do my arenas for the week so that in another month I can be ready for raiding.
Yeah, I mean, I have to say, I personally don't know why more people don't gear like that. That's how I've geared. People who were like, but you must do dailies because you raid. It's like, yeah, I raid casually, but I gear through PvP. I'm fully PvP geared. You can upgrade it to 491. It's better than Raid Finder.
Yeah.
You know, obviously the weapons, unless you've got the 2200 elite conquest weapons, they are, what are the lower ones? Like 470? So they're worse. I think
it's 470, yeah.
Yeah, 470. But then the good ones are like right up there with the Raid Finder. Why wouldn't you? Why don't more people gear like that? I don't understand.
I think the reason they don't, and this is kind of fortunate for Blizzard, is that PvEers still have this like huge stigma against, oh, there's PvP resilience gear on his gear, so it's obviously bad. They haven't figured out yet that doesn't matter.
Roughly. Exactly.
Yeah. It's just those are extra words that are on there. You can ignore those words and then look at the rest of the item, and it turns out it's still an item level 483 or whatever it is.
Yeah,
piece of gear.
With the two upgrades, 8 item levels, 2 upgrades, 491.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
Well, we've got one more tweet here that we have to talk about. Someone asked Ghostcrawler on the forums about saying, why don't they just put all forms of CC on the same diminishing returns? And his response was, we talk about that a lot, but it's a huge change. Probably better suited for an expansion.
Make Olivia angry. No, not better suited for an expansion. Better suited for different. Better suited for Starcraft Ghost. Put it in that. That makes you happy.
Am I reading too much into this? Did he just announce maybe a possible expansion thing?
Pretty much exactly. Yeah, that's like, oh, we talk about this all the time, but we won't do that until an expansion. It's like, wait, you're going to do that in an expansion? Wait, what? What?
I mean, this would shake up PvP in a huge way if they ever did something like this. I mean, how big of a change are we talking here?
That's a huge change. It's a no, make Olivia angry. Don't stop it. It's like it removes a huge aspect of the skill of this game from it. If they do that, it's important to know what DRs with what else and what doesn't DR with what else, so that you can CC people. That's how it works. Stop it. No.
Yeah, it's definitely like, here's the carpet. All the PvPers are standing over here, and you just, there you go, pull the rug out from under.
Exactly.
It's a huge part of how PvP works right now, is understanding, okay, we'll land the stun, and then we'll land the fear, and then we'll land the polymorph, and then we'll land the root, and we'll just keep that guy standing over there doing nothing for the entirety of the fight. Now, personally, I think that sucks balls for that guy. I hate being that guy.
Because is we see the fact that you're that guy? And yes. I'm not that guy. I'm the guys who were doing that to that guy, and you're that guy. Is that what's happening?
Yeah, I haven't had a chance to do as much arenas lately, but when I was still doing arenas, it was either me and an enhancement shaman, or me and an enhancement shaman and a frost death knight. And they would go, okay, well, the paladin's just going to bubble, so we'll chain CC him. And so I'd get stunned or something. I could pop my trinket, sure. Like, I'd try to save it for one of those random 10-second long CCs that somebody has. It's like, okay, I'll pop my trinket. Great. Well, I can't use freedom against this, whatever it is that's on me. I could bubble if I wanted to, but why would I? It's like my big defensive cooldown. Then I am made of squish if I pop my bubble early, so I spend the entire fight running in circles over here because someone feared me, and it's like, I cannot. So it sucks. That sucks. That feeling just plain sucks. And I don't
it's
think...
just because you play a paladin. God, we're just like, all right, he's popped his trinket. Now make him bubble. Then we will kill him. Paladin. Oh.
And I mean, obviously, I'm not an indication of the. I'm not even queuing up against top tier players. I don't even know if that's what you're supposed to do at that point. And yes, I'm a triple DPS. I see someone in chat room going, "Oh, triple." Yes, okay, triple DPS. It was amazing, by the way. We had Operation F the healer. That's how we played. We would death grip the healer and try to kill him in 2 GCDs. This was before they nerfed burst. And honestly, I don't think they nerfed it enough to really stop.
I don't think they nerfed it. I don't think they nerfed it.
Yeah.
But I
mean, hey Olivia, twice. Sorry, that wasn't even a joke.
Everybody.
Sorry, I don't know how that happened. I mean, looking at it, it does. This sounds like he's just sort of like making that in passing. This would be better suited for an expansion because it's such a big, huge change that they'd have to box it with something. I don't think we'll have any chances of seeing this ever before an expansion.
Honestly, if he does, I'm gonna go to his house and kick him in the shins.
Well, here's the reason I think this idea has legs, as it were. You can say what you want.
Has claws.
Has claws, yes. This is the reason this idea has claws. You can say what you want about EA, about BioWare, about everything there is in Star Wars The Old Republic, except the PvP mechanics. The basic PvP mechanics in that game were so good. It was really just ridiculously good. It was a whole lot of fun. When you happen to queue into the one battleground or the one war zone every month where everybody was actually playing and there weren't any like just ridiculously overpowered specs in there, which they did end up ironing out over time. But at the time I was playing, it's like, oh, they have 10,000 Sorc Sages. Well, congratulations, we're going to lose this match. The basic PvP mechanics in that game were actually really, really tight. Exactly. And they had the way the resolve bar worked, it actually made a whole lot of sense. It still had that sort of skill in using your CC, but you had to time your CCs properly. And there were a few outliers, just like everything else. There were a few outliers where it's like, okay, well, this CC doesn't actually cost any resolve or whatever. but they had the resolve bar, and it worked, and it worked well. So that's why I think that the idea of putting them all on the same DRs and then completely overhauling how DRs work to begin with, not saying put them all in the same DR, leave everything else exactly how it is. I mean, like, okay, these are all in the same DR, but maybe now the DRs affect less or something like that. So you can still chain CCs. You just have to be smart about it. You have to understand, like, it basically gets to the point where instead of having the CCs overlapping constantly so that the guy never gets the chance to do anything, you need to sort of, okay, we CC'd him, and now we wait a couple seconds, and now we CC him again, and now we wait a couple seconds, and now we CC him again, and so on. It was actually pretty good, at least in the time when I was playing it. So I think there's merit to the idea, but it really is a ridiculously huge change that would probably piss off the entirety of the PvP community, and Olivia Grace. Yes. Or including Olivia Grace, I should say. Mechanically, I think it could work. Objectively, looking at how World of Warcraft is now, it may still be a bad idea because you're changing things on your current player base pretty drastically.
All righty, mighty. I gotta. So much more. All right, let's do some viewer questions and get the heck out of here really quickly. First, I brought it up before, but I want to tell you guys again, go over to our YouTube page. We got a brand new YouTube account, youtube.com/GameBreakerNation. Subscribe to our page. We're going to be doing some really cool stuff around our YouTube page, including the giveaway I spoke to you guys about, the impromptu giveaway for the World of Warcraft CE that we're going to give away. It's going to be around you're going to have to be a subscriber to our YouTube page. I'm giving you the hint right now. That's the big reveal. You're going to have to be a subscriber in order to win it. So go over to youtube.com/GameBreakerNation. Make sure you sub up to the page. And for viewer questions, don't forget, we take viewer questions every single week. Keep an eye on our Facebook page because we always ask for them there. Or if you have a question, you can send it to submit@gamebreaker.tv. And we love video questions. Love the video questions. We got one this week coming up, so stay tuned. We got one coming up at the end. First up, this one this is from Travis Nevin. Travis says, with the new raid tier and arena season coming out, do you feel that there is still a lot you need to do to finish what needs done in this patch? Olivia, I'll start with you.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are feeling, particularly those who are perhaps in smaller guilds and are trying to level out. I think there's people there who definitely, from a PvE perspective and a PvP perspective, feel that they're like they're able to get one character like dealt with and dailied and geared and set up, but actually that there's just too much to do it on multiple characters. And going from the sort of Cataclysm model of, like, at the end of Cata, you know, 580, like I think I had 585s, which are all raid geared, and for someone who doesn't really raid that much, that's quite a lot. And you have sort of had that mentality of having a lot of alts, and to now go into this new expansion where that mentality doesn't exist and can't exist, you sort of think, oh gosh, okay, I don't have time. I've done my shaman, but I still haven't done my paladin as well as I'd like to, and I haven't done my priest as well as I'd like to, and my mage and my warlock aren't even 85, and I still wanted to do that hunter, and it's just too much, and I can't cope, and I need to sit down or lie down. So yeah, I think so. I think there's still people who are going to be really stressed about this, and they were talking before about people feeling overwhelmed. Come on, guys.
I think there's certainly going to be people who, for whatever reason, feel the need to have 10 fully geared level 90 characters. I think there's an element of wishing that on yourself at that point, though. I don't mean any offense there, Olivia, but
that's okay.
If you're looking at it saying, oh, I have to get all of these characters up to level 90 and fully geared and ready to go for the next... No, you don't. You don't. I do think there's going to be a lot of people looking at the patch and saying, oh, the new patch is going to come out. Oh my god, it's coming out way too soon. We weren't ready yet. I think that's got a lot to do with, A, how big the raid tier is, and B, how random some of the things have been in terms of like loot and such. Personally, I'm looking at it and saying, okay, yeah, we're probably not going to clear everything on Heroic before the patch hits, because we're looking at, what, like 2 or 3 months now for the patch to hit, something like that? We're not going to clear Heroic Shavfir, Heroic Elite Protectors of the Endless, and so on. We're not going to clear all of that before the patch drops. But it's kind of weird, and I've been trying to figure out why I feel this way, because in the past I've been like always super angry when patches came out too soon. but I don't mind. I'm like sitting here going, oh yeah, we're not gonna. It's not that I don't like the current raid content either. I am enjoying the current raid content, but I'm looking at this going, yeah, I'll do a new raid instance. I'll do a new tier. Cool, bring it on. Like it just for whatever reason just doesn't bother me. So I guess directly answering the question, do I feel that there's still a lot I need to do? Not really. I'm okay with not completing the tier for whatever reason. Boggles. Why am I okay with that? I don't know. Maybe I'm just too casual nowadays. But I do think there are going to be people who are upset by that.
Called it. All right, next one up. This one from Mark Pigeon. Mark says, with gear normalization in-game via challenge mode dungeons, is there any chance they may add a form of elite arena with normalized gear? What do you think, Josh?
Oh my god.
I don't know. Olivia, she's uncontrollable. She wants to speak. I'm going to let her go.
I'm sorry. I spoke over you saying, "What do you think, Josh?" And I'm like, because my head just exploded with how cool that would be. I don't think they'll ever do it. Based on the tweets that we've looked at in this episode of Legendary, I don't think they'll do it.
Yeah, no, that would be getting rid of the gear grind, which, if it's not there, people will just stop playing World of Warcraft.
Don't know if it wouldn't have legs.
It would not have.
Yeah.
No, I do. Isn't that supposed to be sort of what they do with the tournament realms, though?
Well, I was just going to say that they do have them.
In a while.
There's a TR. There should be a TR. I haven't. In all honesty, I haven't even tried to play on it. Bad PvP. But there's the TR. I believe there's a TR active. There's been a TR active right up to the point when Mr. Pandaria launched. And when you bought into the most recent one, the 85 TR, the final TR of TR tournament realm of Cataclysm, you should have gained access to the level 90 TR, and it should be out. I believe it's out. I haven't tried to play on it, which I'm kind of ashamed of.
I haven't seen anything about one, which is why I say, like, I'm surprised if there actually is one at the moment. I haven't seen anything about it. And usually they like have big old announcements. They're like, the new tournament realms are active. Everyone go play on the new tournament realms. That's kind of what those are supposed to be, is putting everybody on an equal footing. Maybe they just need to, if they do exist, I wish I knew if they were active or not right now.
Yeah, I wish I did too. I kind of feel like they are, but I'm like plagued with doubt right now. Yeah, an elite arena with normalized gear is kind of like the TR.
That's a picture of Olivia whenever Ghostcraft.
That's a picture of my face when people suggest normalizing DRs. That's me.
All right, last one of this one from Michael Ponte. Michael says, looking ahead, do you think the accelerated patch schedule will continue right up to release of expansion 5? Or will we get stuck with another 9 months without new content? This time I'll start with Josh.
I think we'll probably have an extended period towards the end of the expansion. Whether or not it's going to be 9 months, and whether or not it's going to be 9 months on 8 bosses, is still up for grabs. I think there will probably be a larger gap than there are between the other patches. But at the other patches, we're looking like 2 months for patch 5.1, maybe 4 months for patch 5.2. I think we might see like 6 or 7 months maybe at the most. I'm not expecting 9 months of a gap at all. And I'm certainly not expecting 9 months with only 8 bosses, Dragon Soul.
What about you, Olivia?
You know, I agree. I would be really surprised if they did that again. I really hope they don't, because it was kind of dull as far as rating goes. I don't think they're going to keep up this pace. I think they may. I have a sneaking suspicion there may be a bit of a pause, because I mean, there's gonna, if they're going to start nerfing the content. This is what I'm wondering, is where the nerfs are going to come. Because I mean, if you look at, I don't actually remember what happened with the first raid tier of Cataclysm, particularly as far as nerfs go. But the progressive
really didn't nerf it too much. They put out a few like specific nerfs early on, but they didn't really blanket nerf it until after Firelands came out.
Right, there we go. But then Firelands and Dragon Soul both got the progressive nerfs whilst there was still the current content. Mm-hmm. And so
yeah,
again, are they going
a little bit different how they implemented it, but yeah.
Yeah, are they going to nerf it like that? And if so, when?
They have hooks in place. They have the mechanics in place to start putting a Dragon Soul style debuff on the current tier of raids. In fact, if you check the feats of strength, there's it references this debuff for each one of the cutting edge feats of strength. It references that potential debuff for clearing everything on heroic mode before the debuff actually comes in. But they haven't started up the debuff just yet, and from what they've been saying, it sounds like they may not start up the debuff. So,
last up this week, we got a video question in from Nate from Texas. This one from Nate from Texas. So make sure you send your video questions, post them up to the YouTube, send them to submit at Gamebreaker TV, and if it's good, we'll post it right here and play it on the show. Nate, take it away. I'm scared already.
Hey, Legendary, this is Nate from Texas. Oh, wait. Okay, I figured it out. Okay, no dancing pandas. I'm sick. Alright, I know you guys have covered the Titan rumors, or at least I hope you have. I didn't really believe them until I went into YouTube and looked at Blackthorn, the SNES game, and it made a lot of sense to me. I think the only way for a new MMO to not compete with WoW would be for it to be nothing like the level grind, raid grind kind of system that almost every MMO has right now. So bring me to my question. Do you think that Titan will be more like PlanetSide 2 than it will be EverQuest, Star Wars Galaxies, WoW, Rift, etc.? And if so, do you think that PlanetSide 2's success will hinder the development of Titan? Alright, thanks guys.
how much more tinfoil can we fit in one episode?
I can't take it. So much tinfoil. Sophie, we need tinfoil. Come here. Come here.
I'm gonna get my hat back off the floor.
Oh my god. So much
Put Sophie on your head.
tinfoil. So much tinfoil, Sophie. Sophie is not amused.
Doesn't care for your theories.
So do you think Titan will be more like PlanetSide 2? And if so, will PlanetSide's success hurt Titan?
Ow. Ow, my head. Ow. I don't. I'm going with yes and no, respectively. I think it'll. Well, I mean, we were theorizing earlier. It might be a first person. Sorry, I'm like a million miles away from my microphone. It might be an MMOFPS sort of thing. So it makes sense for them to do something kind of like PlanetSide 2. I don't think PS2 being successful is going to have a major impact on Titan, though. I just don't. Like by the time Titan rolls around, PlanetSide 2 will have been out for over a year. So
I have the same answer. Yes and no.
Yeah. I'm there with that as well. Agreeing with Gary, Laura, and Sophie. Yes and no.
Olivia D. Grace, follow her on the Twitter at Olivia D. Grace, and of course, come over to GameBreaker.tv each and every week, every day. Check out chat bubbles. Check out all her great World of Warcraft coverage right here on GameBreaker.tv. Especially, people love the chat bubbles. They do love the chat bubbles. They do. They love the chat bubbles.
I really like making them too.
They're a lot of fun. Josh Allen, follow him on the Twitter at Devolore, DEVOLORE. Go over and watch PTR. That's the new name of PST on his YouTube channel. Be sure to watch Just the Tip right over here on GameBreaker.tv. All his other stuff, go to tankspot.com. He's got to take his hair helmet off now because his mind is blown.
I really need a haircut. Like, desperately need a haircut.
You can follow me at GameBreaker.tv. Don't forget to go to YouTube.com/GameBreakerNation to possibly win one of these amazing World of Warcraft Miss Pandaria CE signed by the entire dev team. We'll be giving that bad boy away. The giveaway will be up at GameBreaker.tv/giveaway. I don't know what else there is. There's probably more stuff I should be talking about, but I can't remember right now. So I'm still just thinking about Ghost. Have a great week. It's 2013. Aliens didn't take us and kill us. And yeah, Sophie, what do you think?